Everybody's full of anticipation for Paige, but can you just talk about what Aaliyah did today? I mean, she just seemed like she was dialed in from the start.
Yeah. Yeah. I want that to be somewhat of an average game for her going forward today. She finished around the basket. She rebounded from various spots on the floor, and I just thought she was aggressive the entire time she was out there, and this is what we're going to need, starting on Sunday. It's like we don't have a lot of other choices. So I asked him before the game. I said, Dorka got a lot of rebounds for us last year, and we didn't replace her necessarily. So somebody's got to step up and do more than they did last year. And Aaliyah was great today.
Geno, you got to yell a little bit at Paige today. That must have felt pretty good for you. Can you just talk about her play today and how many minutes was she restricted to?
There's a medical minute restriction, and then there's my restriction, and she's not going to like mine. Yeah, she's so anxious to play, and she wants to be out there, and she wants to do everything and be everywhere and do everything, and I just think that there's a certain amount of leadership that we need from her, and she's so far ahead of herself. She wants to get it all back on each possession. I want to get the whole year back on each possession. And you saw her in the first half trying so hard. Yeah, she says she likes when I yell at her, so I just want to keep her happy. I'm a pleaser.
Geno, you mentioned yesterday that the first game is one where you get a lot of information, that you have more information going into the second game.
Yeah.
What was the information that you got from tonight? It seemed like you fired on all cylinders.
Well, the things that we talk about, how hard we want to play, and every coach says they play hard. Probably the worst thing you can say to another coach is, your guys really played hard tonight. After you beat their ass, hey, your guys really played hard today. It's like almost an insult, because that's basic coaching 101. If your guys don't play hard, you shouldn't be coaching. So we play exceptionally hard. We really compete. I really like the way we compete. We just do silly things at the worst possible time that sometimes the score clouds. You look at the score and you see how the offense is going, and you miss these things that now we can go to practice, on Friday and Saturday, and hopefully by Sunday we'll have chipped away at a couple of those things. But we got to get better defensively. We got to keep, fouls to a minimum. I thought we got to always rebound better. I think we got to, because we're going to have our hands full the next 2 weeks. The things that I thought we needed to address, I think they're going to be there. The other stuff, the ball movement and, how we spread the floor and shared the ball, and that was, I thought, pretty good for the first time out. That looked really good.
Geno, when you think about over the offseason, you talked about how having a fuller roster would help you sort of extend the pressure and get a chance to pretty much play all 94 feet. Could you speak to how much the depth in having this full roster really helped set the tone, at least in the first half defensively tonight?
Well, that's the way we used to play back in the day. And what I like is that the game changes depending on the combinations that you have out there, and what kind of defense you can play changes. In reality, every time you make a substitution, the game's going to change a little bit, and we made a lot of them. And there were times when it looked like we had a lot of young players on the floor at the same time, and the game looked a different way than it did, and that's okay. I just want to experiment with as many different looks as I can, and I thought today we had an opportunity to do that.
Geno, when it comes to Paige's comfort level physically, you could tell from the jump she was taking the ball to the hoop, drawing contact on the floor a few times. What did you see from that perspective, and just even thinking back the last few weeks, how she's ramped up her physicality and ability to be comfortable with that with the knee?
Yeah, we were always, we always on her about get in the lane more, attack the basket more, create more, as if she didn't already do that. She's full of confidence because she's bigger, she's stronger. She wants to feel what it feels like to get hit, so she put herself in those situations a lot today. The game doesn't all of a sudden leave you when you haven't played, but it also doesn't automatically come back that fast either. So I think, given that it was the first game, I thought she was what I thought she would be. And she'll be better on Sunday, and she'll be better on next Thursday.
Going back to Aaliyah, you said last year the biggest thing you want her to work on was consistency.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously just the first game, but how do you want her to work on that consistency going forward this year?
Well, what is it that, Aaliyah, what is it that you want to be good at? What is it that you want to be known as? So he says, you had a dominant performance. Well, what does that mean? What area of the game did you dominate? And what is it that you want to dominate every single time you're on the floor? So once she identifies what are those areas, then the consistency part comes, all right, well, now I got to be that every night. So the way I attack the basket today, I got to do that every night, okay? My defense has got to be there. My rebounding's got to be there every single night. She made a couple jump shots. So I think for any kid that wants to be at that level, they have to identify, like, what is one or two things that I know I can bring every single night that makes me, one of the best players in the country. And I said, today's going to be an average game for her. No question.
You said that about Aaliyah last year, like she's got to now become the best person in the country at something. What is it? Like, what do you see from her that maybe she honed over the summer that she can be the best at?
I just think the confidence of no matter where I have the ball, I feel comfortable. Because I think if you want to be that kind of player, you can't be limited to one spot. So, to me, the position that she plays and the position she's going to play going forward in her career are going to demand that she be able to score in the lane like she did today, and she needs to make perimeter jump shots for those teams that won't let her score in the lane. So those, and doesn't matter who we play, you have to be known as a ferocious rebounder. And I think over the summer, when we started training camp, there was an intensity level about her that was a little bit different, which is, part of growing too. So right now she's in a really good place. I really like that.
Geno, if your team is playing the type of basketball you hope it to be playing, say, a month or two from now, who do you think will be the team's leading scorer?
Somebody asked me that, and I said, I don't know. If I give her enough minutes, Q. Jesus. Points per minute played. I mean, that kid's not shy. She just loves the lights, So it could be anybody. I don't even know who it was today other than Aaliyah. 23, 13, 12, 10, 10. Yeah. I mean, AZ's not going to have too many 4 for 12 nights. I'm sure, you know, I'm sure we can probably shoot it better than we did, even though we shot it pretty well. So I don't know. That's a good question. I think it might depend on when we play. What's the object of the other team? Like, what are they trying to do? What are they trying to take away? And I think when you have a team that has multiple options, that makes it hard for teams to focus on one thing. So one of the issues that we had last year during the bad stretch that we had was no one could make an outside shot other than Lou. And so there was so much pressure on her. And I think if everybody stays healthy, it's going to be much more difficult for a team to say, okay, that kid gets no shots. And you know that's going to happen with AZ, or somebody's just going to say that. So you have to have a lot of other people that are going to take some of the pressure. So Aaliyah, that's a constant. AZ, that's a constant because she's going to get enough shots. Paige could care less. Paige scores 10 points and gets 10 assists every night. She's happy, you know, as long as we win. So it's an interesting scenario that I'm anxious to see myself, how it plays out.
Paige could average, I don't know, a handful fewer points than she did 3 years ago.
Yeah.
And still have a bigger impact for you.
Yeah, of course. You know, there was, you don't win National Player of the Year unless you have to do a lot of things. So she had to do a lot of things. And she did. And that's why she won all those awards, and that's why we're in the Final Four. So now she has to do less. And yet, at the same time, she wants to do more. So that's kind of like a, you know, so I call it just enough plays to keep her happy. And I kind of leave it in her hands. Like, when do you want to shoot? When do you want to pass it? I think if she wants to score, she'll score. If she doesn't, she won't.
What did you see from Ice today that impressed you?
I thought she was alive. You know, like, I mean, she was engaged. I think she ran the floor really well. You know, she's good with the ball in her hands. Again, she's been around for a year, but this is her first college game. And I'm sure there was a little bit of all that. But I think you're going to see that she stretches the floor a lot. You know, so we didn't do it today, but in those days when we have Ice and Aaliyah in the game at the same time, it's going to look, we're going to look like a real college team.
What did you say after the game to Coach Williams-Jeter, and what did you think of her coaching performance tonight?
You know, we talked about the difference in this year's team than last year's team. Because all I saw was pretty much film of last year's team. And we talked about how different the team looks and how hard they compete, you know. And she's in a pretty good place. She feels like I've got a good group of young players. And I said, well, you guys look great, you know, and you did a lot of great things today. And, you know, she said, if we can do some of those things against you guys, then I think we'll be all right. You know, we'll be better than we were last year. She understands what situation she stepped into. And they're better than they were last year. That's all you can ask for.
Pretty good representation of what you expect out of KK. I mean, like 18, 19 minutes, 8 points, 7 assists, 4 steals.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the kid that I recruited. She's gonna be involved in a lot of plays. She's not shy. She's not worried about anything. She's just trying to make plays. Defensively, offensively, you know, they say I never get mad at her. I said, well, why should I get mad at her? She's a really, really, really exceptional shooter. So every time she touches it, she shoots it. And I go, how come you never say anything? I said, because I don't want her to stop shooting. And I don't want her to think about, should I shoot or should I not? And I want her to play instinctively. And she does. She gets after you on defense, and she attacks you on offense. I think the kid's gonna be terrific. I just really enjoy watching her play. I think the fans are gonna love her too. But I'm hoping that this is kind of a normal game for her. That'd be great. Yeah.
Hey, Jason, I don't know if we're going to get to talk to you before you get on the plane, so can you tell us what you know about NC State and what you're expecting from them?
You know, every time that we've played, you know, an ACC team on the road, it's a tough environment. It's a tough game. They came up here last year, and I don't know that Wes was entirely thrilled with his team. And they have a new cast of characters this year that he's really happy with. And they're always really, really well coached, and they play a style of play that's hard to match. They've got guards that are athletic and aggressive. The trick for us is, like in any other game we're going to play at that level, is to handle the physicality of the game, because it's going to be a real physical game. And we've been doing a lot in that regard to get ready for it. But Sunday, next Thursday, these are going to be very, very physical games. So, and I'm looking forward to playing in Reynolds. I haven't been there since I was coaching at UVA, because I think last time we played NC State down there, we played in the big arena. I think that was like 2005, wasn't it? 2005. I think it was right after D graduated. I think the last time we played at NC State. I don't remember. And Reynolds hadn't been redone. They redid the whole thing. And I don't know if any of you have ever been down there, but it's a really, really cool environment to watch basketball. Really cool. So I think our kids will get a big kick out of it. Thanks, everybody. Appreciate it.
Really wanted to focus on consistency, especially after last season. What does it look like? What does that look like for you? Is there one area of your game where you really wanted to be specifically dominant in?
I think just want to be an all-around player, whatever coach needs of me or whatever my team needs of me, either that night in practice, in a game. I'll just be ready for whatever's thrown at me and asked of me to do this night. Maybe different from what's going to be on Sunday, but I think, as Paige said, like, it's going to take a team effort for us to go far this season.
KK coach was saying that he hopes this is kind of a typical night for you and kind of the way you contribute to this team. Can you assess your own performance, what you thought you did well, and what you wanted from yourself this season?
Definitely, I thought tonight I did well. My defensive energy, bringing no pressure to the ball is something I bring to this team. Like Aaliyah said, the energy that I bring would just mainly be on the defensive side, and also what could be better, like pushing the ball, my decision making, calling out plays. But as time goes on, I'll learn that from my senior people, from Paige, from Nika, from Aaliyah, and all them, just to learn the pace of the game, as I'm coming in. But pretty much, yeah.
KK, I was watching you and the lights went down before intros. You're watching the hype video. Just the look on your face. Can you just take us through kind of what it was like to finally get out there and play the game?
I was very excited. I had jitters coming in. He said sub in. I was like, oh, shoot, like I'm ready to go. Grab my weapon and everything. But it was just an exciting moment and a very blessed moment as well.
Aaliyah, could you speak to the adjustment that the team has made since you've got pretty much a full roster now and coaches extending the pressure, how that depth is sort of feeding into what y'all were able to do on both ends of the court?
I think that we just have a lot of different personnel that can be a threat and be to our advantage in different areas of the floor, which helps us with our depth and what we can accomplish. I think that, in the second quarter we did pretty well pushing the pace. We got a lot of points off turnovers and off defensive rebounds, and I think that going into this game, we knew that we had that with our transition offense. So I think just utilizing to our strengths and the stuff that we're not good at, we just got to learn from film and learn from what we work in practice so that we can be better for the next game.
For Paige, what's it like for you to see Aaliyah just grow these past 2 years and becoming this dominant post player?
Yeah, I mean, Aaliyah's grown in so many different ways. I believe she's one of the best post players in the country. And just to see her be aggressive and be confident is all you can ever ask for, because we have the utmost trust in her as a coaching staff, as teammates, for her to be aggressive and her to search for her game. And just to see that and see how much she's grown on both sides of the floor and as a leader as well. It's been a pleasure to watch and now a pleasure to play with.
This team has not been number one since March 2021. If you guys take care of business on Sunday, it's likely the team will be there again. What does it mean to you guys to have that mantle, and is that one of the objectives to stay there all year?
We only care about being number one in April, and we have yet to do that since we've been here at school. So rankings during the regular season really don't mean anything to us. It's about getting better every single day at practice, building great habits, and continuing to get better on both sides of the floor, communicate, hold each other accountable, and I think those are like the main goals in order to build habits to be the number one team in April. So that's never really something that we focus on or a goal of ours, but just the main goal is to get better at basketball every single day.
Daniel and Mike.
KK, there was a moment where you went to the bench where it looked like Nika almost tackled you. Remember that? And just what was that moment like sharing it with her in your first game?
It was pretty cool, I guess. But no, we have moments like that where we run into each other, so it's just funny. But in the moment, got back right on the bench.
Coach was talking recently about your speed and quickness, and you mentioned that it'll be even more effective if you learn as you go on to slow it down. What's that process like?
Just like I said, like at times, like I knew this game, I had times where I just like was out of control sometimes, but just learning how to pace myself and just learning how to just stop the ball and set up a play for my teammates to get an open shot for either anybody on the court. But it takes time, and I've been practicing a lot during practice, and we have moments in practice where he just takes the time to just tell me what to do, and just my point guards as well, Nika, Paige, and all of them telling me what to do. So.
Last one, Lori.
Really, the next few games coming up, against ACC opponents, Coach is talking about the physicality of them. Are you guys ready for that?
Yeah, we're ready for anything. Now we just focus on one game at a time, and the focus is just going to be playing together, playing dominant, playing UConn basketball for full 40 minutes.
All right. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.